Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a minute since we last talked, so let's go ahead and get into it. If you're wondering why there's a huge giraffe in here, I will explain going forward. So since we last talked, I was on my honeymoon in Thailand, and since then we've had a lot of major life changes. So we did a second IUI cycle back in February that we did not talk about and I did not document on my channel because it did not take. We were just skeptical to talk about it because the first one didn't take and we had told people close to us and it didn't take, and we got everybody excited. So we told those like really close to us and that was it. It didn't take. So after that, my wife told me that she thought it was best I go see a counselor or a therapist because I would see a baby bust out crying. Other friends were getting pregnant and I was happy for them, but still sad for myself that I wasn't. So I finally talked to a therapist and I think it definitely helped, but still didn't fill the void of I'm not pregnant. So in June, we went on our honeymoon to Thailand for a week. When we got back, my cycle started, and that's when we decided we would try for our third cycle. And we had an awesome time. I will continue to make those videos down the road and tell you guys what all we did. And it was just so much exercise, so much walking, us reconnecting like on a whole different level, celebrating our 1-year anniversary of marriage. And so we came back, my cycle started. So we called the doctor and was like, hey, her cycle started. So we came in, we did blood work and ultrasounds, everything looked good. Now what's different, our first 2 cycles, I took no medication and we are doing the IUI again. This cycle, they were like, it's nothing wrong. Like all your tests are great, your levels are great. Like we don't know what's going on. So do you want to try Clomid, which is a fertility drug? And I'm like, whatever we have to do at this point, I'm fine with. So we paid for the Clomid. It was about like $35. And sorry if I look down, I have my little cheat sheet, you guys. And so the only difference was we continued with the same cycle like I mentioned in earlier videos of my IUI part 1 and 2 and 3. But I took Clomid for I think it was 5 to 6 days, and it was 2 pills a day. The only difference that I noticed when I took the Clomid, I had hot flashes, kind of sore breast, headaches, felt kind of nauseated, but that was it. I didn't have like major side effects like a lot of women that I've spoken to previously were like, oh, I like got bipolar and my husband thought I was a B word and this, that, and the third. I didn't have any of that. I just seriously had hot flashes. That was the worst thing. So, this cycle I felt different though. Like I felt calmer. I didn't feel subconsciously or consciously stressed. I'm just kind of was at a space of I'm keeping my faith, but if it takes, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But things were just kind of lining up. Like I was worried about taking time off from work because nobody in my department has ever been pregnant that's a woman, and I also had to go through fertility. So they didn't kind of understand at work that I'm needing to take time off because I have to go to the doctor, I have blood work, I have ultrasounds, I have this. So they kind of weren't understanding. So I'm like worried about time taking off work, but things started lining up to where I was able to do my appointments on the weekends. So I'm like, okay, God's working things out, like time and everything. So I'm like, okay. So we go for our IUI. It was on a Sunday, excuse me, and we do the insemination. And I tell y'all, the first 2, there was a little bit of pain, and afterwards, kind of like a piece of my uterus kind of came out when I used the bathroom afterwards. This time, the IUI was not, I didn't feel 1 ounce of pain. Olivia did push the button, so she, inseminated me. The doctor let her do that again for the 3rd time, and nothing came out afterwards when I used the bathroom. So I was just like, it's different, okay? But in my head, I'm like, I don't want to get myself hyped up or get too excited and it doesn't take. But I felt different. Afterwards, I felt kind of just calm. Like my breast started hurting, like my back was hurting a little bit, but just calm. Like I wasn't like oh my gosh, am I pregnant? Oh my gosh, like freaking out, like just like on edge, like, oh my gosh, I have to drink this much water and do this and eat healthy. And that. Like, I was not freaking out. I was just so eerily calm. And it was abnormal because I was not that way with the first two. And so at 10 days past ovulation, or 10 days after my IUI, I was like, okay, I'm going to take a pregnancy test. Now, the first one, they made me wait 14 days after my IUI, and it was negative. The second one, I took it 10 days past and 11, and it was negative. And doing research on YouTube, Google, it can be your best friend and not. Some women were like, okay, I took it, it was a false positive or false negative. But a lot of people were like, if you take it at 10 or 11 days past, like normally that's correct. And it was the case for the second one. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and take the test. You guys, I took the test. My wife was not home. And I was just like, not freaking out. But I was like, oh my gosh. Because in my heart, I knew I was pregnant. I was too calm. Like, it was just so different, this experience in the last two. So I took the test and I walked off. I come back, you guys, and this is what my test said. I don't know if you guys can see it. So that's 10 days. And I'm like, but it was more prominent than this. This is like since like July. So this is old. And I've been keeping this. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm pregnant. So I freak out and I'm like, I'm going to take another one. I take the other one and it says this. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, I just like busted out crying. I'm like, God, thank you. God, thank you. God, is this real? And so I'm just like, oh my gosh. So my wife gets home. I put him on her nightstand. And she comes home, she gives me a kiss and she's playing with the dogs. And she like looks over at her nightstand and she's like, and she's kind of looking like, I'm excited to check it, but I'm nervous. And I was like, look at it. And she looks at it and we both just start like get so emotional. And I'm just like, baby, we're pregnant. We're pregnant. And it was just such a crazy moment, so full of emotions to think about it. And so we're like, okay, but we're going to wait till 13 days pass. We're going to take one at 13 days and one at 14 days just to make sure. So that time, you know, I'm just still so calm. 13 days pass come, and this is what my test says. But this line over here was more prominent. And I take another one the next day, and this is what it says. And I'm just like, at that point, if you take it at 14 days past and it's positive, like more than like 99% you're pregnant. And I'm like, baby, we're pregnant. Like, oh my gosh. Like, you guys, I was just in awe. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a baby in there. Like, you guys, I cannot breathe. I was just like, oh my goodness. So that's how we found out we were pregnant. We went to the doctor the next day after the 14th day and we took my blood test and it came back that I was in fact pregnant. So that's how we found out, but we did get to take it at home and we knew at 10 DPO, 10, 13, and 14. But it's really up to you and what you feel comfortable with. And when you talk to your OB or your doctor, whatever they kind of feel comfortable with and letting you do. Sorry guys, my fur babies are in here. But just kind of however you gauge your body. Since we had already did this 2 times prior, I knew that if I took it at 10 days, whatever it said, that's what it was going to be. So we were super duper duper excited. So we tell her, I think we told my mom and sister, and I think her mom, I believe. I don't remember if we told her sister or not right away. So we did the donor IUI, and so many people have questions like, oh, how'd you guys get pregnant? And like, what did you do? So we went through the ART fertility clinic here in Birmingham, Alabama, as I mentioned before. And our doctor was Dr. Hauserman, but you also do see other doctors. She was not the only doctor that we saw. She didn't even do our first IUI. I think Brittany is her name. But the third doctor that did our IUI that we were successful with was a man. So you don't just see, that's like your doctor on paper, but you see other doctors, you see it more so a lot of nurse practitioners, which we became so close with. We were so sad when we got discharged. They almost become like a second family because we literally had been trying since November, and here it was July and we finally got pregnant. So it's like a little family. We almost gave up. Like after the second one, I was like, I don't want to stick with them, I want to go to another clinic, and like just so emotional. But we decided to give them one more chance, and we're so glad we did. So the IUI process is kind of the more natural route. We use my eggs, so you know, just like regular, except we had to buy donor sperm. So they don't have to extract any eggs or like put it in a petri dish or anything like that. It's literally almost like myself and like a man would have sex, except we're not having sex, they're inserting their sperm into me. So that's kind of the more natural route. The only unnatural thing about my third cycle was that I took Clomid, which Clomid, what it does is just creates more eggs for you, because when they insert the sperm, the more eggs that you have, the more chances the sperm have to go to the egg. So let's say you have 6 eggs, the more eggs you have, the better. So when the sperm gets up there, it can choose an egg and try and latch on and fertilize the egg, and then you become pregnant. I was just naturally my first 2 cycles producing 1 egg, but my third cycle when I took Clomid, I produced 2 really big ones. So it did help to create an extra one, and it did work. So I've had girlfriends that like, yeah, I took Clomid and it worked. What does that sound? And it did work for them. So it worked for myself as well, and I would definitely recommend it. Like I said, I didn't have any like crazy side effects or anything like that, so I would definitely recommend it. So after we found out we were pregnant, in the IUI cycle, like I said, is just super natural. Now the only thing with IUI is because it's the more natural route, every single chance, I think it's like a 10 to 15% chance that it takes. So it's just like almost like a regular couple, heterosexual couple having sex. It's so many people and couples that like try to just naturally have sex regularly and don't get pregnant until like a year or 2 later. It's the same, because it's kind of the same method, except they're just injecting the sperm in you from a donor. So your chances aren't as high, but the cost is a lot more cost effective than doing IVF. We did ask about doing IVF and was going to use Olivia's egg, and I was going to carry the baby. So they explained that you just can't do that. You have to do IVF. So they were going to have to put her on IVF medication, which is a fertility drugs, and they're not covered by insurance. And we have like pretty great insurance, like the highest Blue Cross Blue Shield you can have. It's considered fertility drugs. So a lot of the fertility stuff is not covered by your medical insurance. So she would have had to take those drugs. Then they extract all of the eggs that they can get from her, then put it kind of like in a petri dish, mix it with the donor sperm, and then put the egg into myself. Now that sounds great, but they told us at our clinic starting out it was about 16 to 20 grand. That's not including the drugs. It's not including each time you have to pay to go see the doctor or nurse practitioner. That doesn't include anything else. That's just a starting cost. And we were like, oh no, like we can't, being honest, like we couldn't afford that. And we thought about taking out a loan, but we're in the process of paying off debt. So it didn't make sense to go back down that hole. Maybe like we talked about it for our third child, and we'll save up like cash for that and pay. And we hope to be in a better like financial state by then. But just out the gate for the first child, and she didn't want to carry. She like was so supportive in the process and what she saw me go through, that she honestly wasn't even interested in like taking the fertility drugs and all that stuff. So it just didn't make sense for us to do that. And I don't regret it. I think it was the best decision for me to, carry with my biological genes, the first child. And then, like I said, our second or third child, we'll do it and talk about it again. So, but of course, like I would love to see our child with her DNA. So, we'll see down the road how that plays out. So, I would totally recommend IUI. The next question so many people have is like, how did you pick your donor? So our first sperm bank that we used was California Cryo Bank, which is a California sperm bank. And they just didn't have a lot of options. You also have to pay attention in my first few videos about IUI. Once again, you have to pay attention to if you're CMV negative or positive. I was CMV negative. They told me what it is. It's kind of like a virus that you're exposed to, that you can be exposed to at a young age. It's not like a STD or anything like that. It's just kind of like a little strain of a virus, and a lot of people have been exposed to it, but there's a few that didn't, and I was one of them. So there's hundreds of thousands of candidates that are CMV positive, but when you filter out CMV negative, you have like this many, and you're like, really? Like, great. Like, hundreds of thousands, and then like I had like very selective, but it was good because they didn't get exposed to that virus. So I mean, I guess it worked out. And so we ordered from them twice. No, we ordered from them once, and their sperm was a lot more expensive. Like shipping and sperm was almost like $1,000 versus our clinic told us about Seattle Sperm Bank, and like shipping and sperm was like 800 something. So not much off, but every little bit counts in this process. And so we used Seattle Sperm Bank the second and third time, but each 3 times of our cycles, we used 3 different donors. Our first donor was African American. Our second donor was also African American, I believe, or mixed with Hispanic, I don't remember. And our third donor, which is our baby's father, is what are they? They are German, Salvadorian, African American, and Puerto Rican all together. So I'm African American and Puerto Rican, 50-50, and then our baby's father is German and Salvadorian. So they're like half Hispanic, 25% Caucasian, and then 25% Black. So we wanted that at least other half of Hispanic because it's super important to us. We really wanted a donor that was Black and Puerto Rican, but it was just super hard to find. But also, a lot of people have so many questions about this, and on your donor profile, you do have to pay for like the package. But Seattle Sperm Bank, it was like $50, and it lasts, I think, for like 90 days. But you get to see pictures. Now, sometimes they do have adult pictures, and sometimes they have like children, pictures of them as a child. You just never know until you get to their profile. Our donor only had pictures of them as a child, but you have a lot of other stuff on their profile. Like you can hear their voice, what they look like. They give a great description of like physically what they look like and their impression of them. Like little facial features, their hair, their texture, their skin, if they have freckles, their teeth. Then you also get an extended health like background and like DNA background of them. So I know at Seattle Sperm Bank, it goes to like, you can see the health information about their parent, their mother, father, maternal, paternal grandparents, great grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins. Like it goes pretty far back. It does take a while because you have to go through their profile and see like, okay, do they have alcoholism? Do they have diabetes? Do they have HIV? Like in their family history, because your donor can be like whistle clean. But we found some donors, like we found one, I think he was full Puerto Rican, and we were like so excited. His pictures were nice. His genetic background was great. When we went into his family's background, he had alcoholism, diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol, like cancers. It was like, wah, wah, wah. it was awful. And we were like, God dang. But you really have to take the time to look at your donor profile and see them and their family's background. And I think the only thing in our donor's profile was, I think, like somebody had like high blood pressure. That was it. Like himself and his family was whistle clean, and that's what we went with. His pictures were so cute. We're not gonna post them out of respect for our baby's father, and we don't want to release that information. And we won't release the name of our donor either. But you guys might be able to find him by his genetic, like his ethnicity, but that's it. But we're super, super, super excited. The next thing is I still had to get my HCG shot, my trigger shot. So in total, we get so many questions about like costs. Costs can range anywhere from like $1,200 all the way up to $2,000. Like I said, it depends on your sperm, shipping costs, if whatever fertility drugs you have to take, how many times you're seen by the doctor, how much your insemination fee is. So for us, this cycle was about $1,550. So $1,500. Before, it was higher than that, like I said, because we had used a different sperm bank, so it was like $1,700, pushing $1,800. But like I said, I was just super, super, super excited. I was super excited the first month I didn't get my period because I have the worst period cramps. So we are 14 weeks tomorrow. I'm super, super excited. We told and did our announcement, I think when I was 8 weeks, which I will post right here, what our pregnancy announcement was. And we're just super, super excited. This giraffe, I'm actually in the baby's room. I'm in their glider with my little back pillow. So I'm super excited. We are doing like a gender neutral safari modern theme. So that's why you see a giraffe in here, and there's other animal things back there. That's their bookshelf, and there's another one up there. So we're super, super excited. We have to get the wallpaper for this wall, and then the walls will be done. All their decor is coming in slowly this week. I'm super excited, and we will do a nursery tour for you guys once it's all fixed. But if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on my social media accounts. I'm like very responsive. I'm there, and I can try and lend any support or advice that I have. So many people are like, oh, did you guys get to pick the baby's like eye color, or you know, like their hair? Or no, we didn't get to do that. That's part of IVF, where you get to pick the baby. We don't know what gender it is. I'm actually taking my blood test to find out what it is tomorrow. So we will know within a week from tomorrow. So I'm super excited. I don't know, only Olivia will know. I don't know if I want, because we're having a gender reveal in like 2 weeks. So I don't know if I want to wait, but knowing myself, I probably don't. I don't know what I want to do, because I just want to know what this baby is. Like, I just want to know so bad, because I talk to them and I'm just like, I just want to know, is it a boy or a girl, so bad. But we do feel like we're having a boy. Everybody in my family wants a boy, except like myself, Olivia's like best friend. Everybody else wants a boy, but I would love a girl to dress her up and be my little best friend. But I secretly, you know, Olivia, I know you're gonna watch this, but I really want a boy for her. Like, you guys, she's been so supportive, and I'm trying to keep myself together. She's been so supportive and been there when I felt down, like I felt like I couldn't give her a child, when I felt like a letdown or felt like she was going to leave me because I wasn't able to produce a child for her, or I felt like I had at one point lost my faith. She was just there. And like people say like, oh, that's your wife, that's her job, but there's people out there that don't, you know. And she lifted me up, and she kept me in prayer, and she kept faith when I didn't have any, and helped me restore my faith. And you know, God is greater than this. We are gonna get pregnant. God, and you guys, I say this all the time. Hey, booby. I say this all the time to people that ask, come here, you wanna say hi? Say hi. You guys, he just got his flea and tick, so that's why that line is there. Yeah, he's gonna be a big brother. Say hi, Bo. Say hi. Yeah. So that's our boy dog, as you guys know. And I say this all the time. I truly believe that God wanted us to enjoy our honeymoon. The first 2 chances, we just still had so much to do, and we had planned our honeymoon. And looking back, I could not have done our honeymoon the way that we did pregnant. It was just in February, March, April, May, June. So I've been like 4 or 5 months pregnant. There was no way. You guys, all the walking, the exercise, like the heat, you guys, it was no freaking way I could have went on our honeymoon and did the things that we did pregnant. And I'm only 13, 13 weeks and 6 days, but 14 weeks basically. And even like this, I still couldn't have done it. So I truly believe that God was in heaven like, I just want you to enjoy your honeymoon. Just enjoy your honeymoon, and then I got you. I got you. And like, no lie, you guys, right after our honeymoon, we got pregnant. I was pregnant 2 weeks after our honeymoon. So to all the ladies out there, Bo, stop. Thank you. To all the ladies out there that this may be like your 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th cycle, keep the faith, keep it, keep trying. I know it's harder to hear, like that's easier said than done, trust me, because I was there. I'm like, I'm trying to keep the faith, I'm trying to like keep it strong. I totally get it, but it's so true. When it's your time, it's your time. And God has blessed us with this wonderful bundle of joy. So far, you guys, my pregnancy has been amazing. I'm doing all this in one video because I'm going to make more. My first trimester, I'm officially into my 2nd tomorrow. So I'm so excited. And that's a huge milestone for me. Every little milestone, like, to me, matters. Like, some people are like, okay. But to me, because I've waited for this moment, like, just to like get an extra week matters so much. Like, I just find myself like so grateful, you guys, and I'm just super excited. The baby has been great. I was so blessed. I had no morning sickness, no like nausea, no like throwing up, couldn't keep anything down. Now what I did have, I felt like I was gonna throw up at some point, but didn't. And I got these little like ginger snacks from Target, and they helped to soothe that. But I threw up once, and I think it was because the baby did not like what I had that day for lunch. Other than that, that was the only time I threw up. I had no morning sickness, nothing like that. So I was super blessed. The only things that I have had, super bad back pain. I need Olivia to rub my back and my feet all the time. And headaches every now and then. But it's just really been my back and my breast. Oh my gosh, you guys. My boobs are getting so big each week. It's crazy. And I had like, like B cups, but girl or guy, I am like, who am I? I'm just growing it feels like every single day. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, who am I becoming? My boobs are getting bigger and they hurt. So my areolas are getting darker and my boobs are growing and they hurt. So I have to have, and I was a person that did not sleep with bras on, but when I tell you, a sports bra has been my best friend. Like, we're best friends. I cannot sleep without one. My boobs hurt so bad and they're like heavy. So I don't know if that's just like my milk coming in or my like milk ducts starting to form. Don't know what that is, but this is actually a breastfeeding book. So that's it. But my boobs and my back, other than that, you guys, when I tell you this baby has been so good to me. I had like skin problems. Like, before I was pregnant, I had acne so bad. This baby has like clipped that. I had oily skin. Now I'm like normal skin. So the baby has done me wonders. I am so grateful. And I'm hoping that this means we're gonna have like a little mellow, you know, happy baby. But we are so excited and we love you guys. Thank you guys for all the support. Everybody that's reached out said congratulations and just been there. For those like you guys, the baby has so much stuff already. Oh my gosh, they are so loved, and I will do more about my first trimester because things start changing. You have to change your beauty products, which you've been using, your skincare, your makeup and hair and all this type of stuff. So that's the next video, so stay tuned. If you guys have any questions, make sure to hit me on Instagram or Snapchat. And I'm last but not least gonna show you my little belly. So you guys, this is my belly from the front. Kind of can't tell I'm pregnant. And then you turn to the side, that's my belly, and then this is my belly. So that's Munchkin, you guys. So from the front, I don't know what this is, you guys. I got this is from, I had my belly pierced on the top and bottom, so that's what that's from, but I don't know what this is. I've got this dark mark that I don't know, maybe the baby gave it to me. But from the side, that is Munchkin. So super excited, and we love you guys, and thank you for all the support. And once again, you guys stay strong, and I love you guys. Have a great night.